Mayor, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Thomas. Good evening. This is the emergency city council meeting for Tuesday, August the 25th. First item on the agenda, 1, workshop. 1A, receive of and discussion on the city's emergency preparations regarding Hurricane Laura. We have with us this evening Pat Hughes, our emergency management director. Pat, talk to us about Hurricane Laura.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate it. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Mr. Goodrum. I just got off the 4:30 call with the National Weather Service, and at this point in time, it's been moving west every time we've met with them and seen what they're doing. At this point, they're expecting landfall to be sometime on Thursday morning, 1 a.m. time frame on Thursday morning. We are in the hurricane warnings phase now as far as our location, and I can tell you right now the city staff has stepped up and are doing a fabulous job in getting the city ready to deal with this. Our emergency operations center will be is activated now, and all our city staff will be working 24-hour shifts beginning tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. To my knowledge, and this is the first time that our city staff members have been called upon to deal with 2 emergency activations of our emergency operations center at the same time. And our truly dedicated staff members have stepped up every time it's been needed, and to keep our citizens safe and to help the city recover from many emergency situations. We are, as you well know, we're still dealing with COVID. Now we're ramping up for Laura, and as soon as Laura's done and we're moving on, we'll go back to dealing with COVID again, because that, in fact, hasn't gone away and doesn't look like it's going to for any near future. Weather experts still expect Laura to make landfall as a Category 3 in the Port Arthur Beaumont area. Our region can expect tropical storm force winds with gusts of 60 to 70 miles an hour as the storm tracks to the east. They do say, fortunately, that they're expecting this storm, once it makes landfall, to move out of the region relatively quickly and move to the east. And so we'll have some pretty busy couple of hours, but hopefully it won't hover over us and deal us some rain issues like we had to deal with Harvey a couple of years ago. Sugarland's a pass-through community, as you all know. We're working with the county to make sure Highway 6 and 59 and 99 are part of the evacuation route from the coast, and the only city that has ordered evacuation at this point is Galveston. There's been a couple of voluntary evacuations. We haven't seen any issues concerning traffic at this point. We're keeping a close eye on that. And then we've got a plan in place if we have to start ramping up. Should traffic start building up on our streets, we've got a plan to deal with that. Good news is the Brazos River at this time is way down. So all the experts are not anticipating any major flooding concerns as far as the Brazos River goes. We're keeping close contact with all our lids to make sure that we're all on the same page and in communication with them on an ongoing basis. I would like to advise our citizens, if they're out and about, that, again, Highway 6 and 59 and 90A are pretty much evacuation routes. So if there is traffic on there, they may want to steer clear of those over the next couple of days just to be on the safe side. We've taken a number of precautions to get ready for Laura. Damage assessment teams have been formed. Generators, chainsaws, pumps are all ready with various departments within the city. We have loose equipment that's been secured and buildings prepped. our testing site for COVID tests at Smart Financial Center will shut down at noon tomorrow, and we anticipate it staying closed for the next couple of days. The county will go out and secure all the equipment that's out on that site to make sure that Smart Financial Center stays safe during this process as well. And we've been discussing possible solid waste recycling disruptions with our contractors at this point to make sure we're all on the same page should something occur that we have to deal with. And pass along to you for the latest updates, visit our Hurricane Laura webpage and follow our social media platforms if you want the most up-to-date information. And with that, I want to tell everybody to stay safe and hunker down, and we'll deal with this like we have all the other storms we've dealt with. With that.
Thank you, Pat. Let me open it up. Himesh.
Thank you, Mayor. So, Pat, just 30 minutes ago, I was watching the news, and it seemed on the map that Sugar Land is kind of on the, and I think it's the dirty side of the storm. Can you kind of just explain in layman's terms what that means? And then second, are we in any real, is there like a percentage of where we're going to end up, or can you give a little more specificity on our chances of being in this storm?
Well, the frustrating part of all of this is every time we've had an update with the National Weather Service, it's moved a little bit farther west.
Right.
It's not, and they, back a couple of days ago, they were saying they'll have a better handle on this once it clears Cuba. Well, it seemed like it hovered over Cuba for about 3 days. And once it did go out into the Gulf, it started picking up speed and strength. And that's where it's gone to. They expect it to be a Category 3 upon landfall. I believe on the dirty side of a storm such as a hurricane would be on the right side of the circulation.
Yeah, be on the east side, Pat.
Yeah, so we're at this point, everything we're seeing, we're going to get some rainfall, we're going to get some wind, but it shouldn't be anything like Port Arthur, Beaumont's going to get, and anything east of that location into Louisiana.
Okay, thank you for answering that.
Yes, sir.
Nishad.
Thanks for the update and staff that's been working on this. I did notice driving down Highway 6 this morning, TxDOT has those large barrels all over because there's so much construction going on down Highway 6. What's the plan to make sure that the city streets are clear of this type of flying cones and flying debris?
We've been in contact with TxDOT. We've actually established a TxDOT liaison position for the city to do follow-up and make sure they are working on trying to make sure they get all that equipment secure prior to landfall on Thursday morning. And we're doing what we can do to make sure that they remove any of the items out there that could become, dangerous if they're blown around, that kind of thing. So our Public Works Department is in close contact with them.
Yeah, just to follow up here, Mayor.
Follow up.
Along with the barrels, there's large piles of cut up concrete that are small enough that can become missiles at 39 to 75 miles an hour.
Okay.
Somehow or another, we probably need to cover that or do something else with it too if we can't remove them all. There's a lot of that on Highway 6 in Brooks and First Colony. I saw a lot of that this morning.
Okay. I'll follow up, make sure we address that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Stuart?
Thank you, Mayor. This is Mayor and Chief. This is mine, and I know Nishad's first hurricane as council members. What are we expected to do, and how can we be helpful and be of service?
Well, hopefully you can take the information you're getting from all of our different sources and passing those along to all of your citizens and any questions that you get. Hopefully we're giving you the information you can answer those questions, and we're giving you good information to answer the questions citizens have. At that point, just do what, was asked of you, and we will make sure that we're doing everything we can do. I can tell you from my experience in emergency management, you need to be comfortable with the fact that we've got a very deep bench when it comes to staff that really know what they're doing and how to handle these types of situations. And that makes this whole process much easier when we've got so many qualified people to draw from as we respond to these types of events.
Stuart, you've got available to you, Cindy, we'll do an update video in the morning which will explain a lot of what Pat said. It will emphasize the fact that the Brazos River's down. There's plenty of capacity in the drainage channels. Those drainage channels are going to maintain gravity flow. The reason we had the flooding during Harvey was the fact that the gates were closed. Brazos River was up. We're on the clean side of the storm, at least we are right now, which means we're going to get wind, we're going to get some rain, but we're not going to get the amounts that we have seen in Rita and Harvey. The other thing which Pat said, all staff now is subject to 24/7. They're on call. We have staff available around the clock in purchasing, in finance, in engineering, in public works, in police, fire, and EMS. So our staff is available to be deployed. Equipment's been prepped. Gas has been, all the vehicles are gassed. Everybody has whatever supplies they need in order to respond to emergency. We have high water vehicles ready to go. We will, through Cindy, Pat, basically your executive team. So from Mike to the assistant city managers to the police chief, the fire chief, Pat over the emergency, myself, Meredith, kind of everybody's in the pond, so to speak. So depending on what kind of storm it ends up being, we've got staff available to respond to whatever kind of storm it is. Communications will be real robust on social media. You can certainly call Cindy, any one of the E-team. You can certainly call me, call Pat, and we'll be able to respond to questions that maybe you can't answer. But it's pretty easy, Stuart, on social media. You can pretty much find our website will be up to date, our social media will be up to date, information will be at your fingertips.
Okay, thank you both, Chief and Mayor.
Yep. Steve.
I'll just respond to Stuart's question. Last time in Harvey, the only reason that you might be called out is we have to declare an evacuation. And if that happens in the middle of the storm, the police department are very considerate to come get you and not make you drive your car through this hurricane. We did that last time. Don't expect to have to do it this time, but you might get a call that says, come to a meeting. And I don't know if we would Zoom it. That's a good question. Would we Zoom it instead of meeting like we did the last time at the police department?
If we had power, Steve. If we don't have power, we might have to meet face to face.
Yeah, so that's really in addition to what the mayor said, that's the impact on us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
Mike, anything you want to add?
Well, one other thing, Mayor, if I could.
Sure.
We did get word today that the governor has now included Fort Bend County as part of the disaster declaration. So if we become eligible for recovering funds, that puts us in a position to be able to do that. So that's a good thing.
Does that mean we can put our cap at 17 now?
Hopefully we won't get to a point that it's going to matter, but it's beneficial to us to be included in that. So I'm sure finance is very happy that occurred. So,
Doug, Eric, anything that you guys want to add? I know you're out there. I can see you both.
Mayor, I just want to say from the police standpoint that we are ready. We are checking all our equipment. One of our main things is to be focused on, from our standpoint, is evacuation routes. If it ever happened, if they evacuate from the southern area. So we have a route that's been designated by the state, through the county's EOC. So we're prepared. We're checking all our equipment, and our staffing, of course, is most importantly. We feel we have adequate staffing right now. So it's kind of hunker down, wait and see right now. We have staff for the EOC. I'll be there in the morning along with some of the others. So we're ready with Pat Hughes, just like he's saying, and I think the city is in good shape.
Thanks, Eric. Doug?
Mayor, you speak very, you and all of the city council should be very proud of the men and women you have working for the city of Sugar Land. I can honestly tell you, all the directors and everyone throughout the city has been working diligently the last 48 to 72 hours, just preparing, getting staff prepared, making sure they're taking care of their family, but also just putting us in a position to be successful throughout this entire endeavor, preparing our action plans, equipment, as Mayor alluded to earlier. Very proud of the effort that goes into this. And as the saying goes, this isn't our first rodeo. We've been to this many different times, and it really shows when events like this come to fruition.
Thanks, Doug. Anybody else? Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Appreciate the update. See you in the morning.
You bet. Thank you all.
At this time, we're going to recess.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, if you will adjourn the emergency meeting and then convene the next meeting, and then we can recess.
Okay, let's adjourn this meeting, the emergency meeting. So we're going to adjourn at 5:18. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Carol?
Yes, a motion to.
There we go. We got a motion to adjourn. We are going to immediately open. We're going to open the regular city council meeting for Tuesday, August the 25th. First item on the agenda. 1, closed executive session. 1A, closed executive session is authorized by Chapter 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with Section 551.07 for public officers. At this time, we're going to recess and we will reconvene in closed executive session.